I'm Chip Norton. Steve and I are founders of Sinagua Malt, and I'm owner of Sinagua Malt. Prior to doing that for about 12 years, I was doing a lot of nonprofit river conservation work in the Verde Valley, and that was my portal to this crop conversion project.
So I'm Steve Ayers with my friend Chip Norton here. We started Sinagua Malt a few years back. It's been a joy to be a part of this program. I had worked with Chip as a newspaper reporter, watching the growth of the work he was doing with friends of the Verde River, and that sort of developed a friendship between us. And on the weekends I would brew beer on my back patio, and Chip would come over and brew beer and talked about ideas. And one day he came over and asked me if barley would grow in the Verde Valley, and I'd written quite a bit about the history of the Verde Valley, and I said, yeah, it's actually one of the first crops that was grown here. And one thing led to another, and the next thing you know, Chip shows up at my house one day and goes, you know, we're actually going to have to build this thing.
Well, right now we're in, I would say, pilot project mode. We've been in that mode for about 3 years, where we have a facility that puts out 3 tons of finished malted barley a week, and we're just in the first stages of an expansion that will increase that output tenfold. So this is our grain cleaner. This won't be we won't be cleaning raw grain at the new facility, but at this facility we are. And when we bring the grain in from the farm, we clean it right here so we have clean raw grain for the process. From here, it'll be part of all this bagging here. So just briefly, we have dirty raw grain, we have clean raw grain, we have dirty malt, and then we have clean finished malt. And then you can see we also have an aisle that's for malt that's packaged to ship out. So when the grain first comes in, after it's been cleaned, we put it in this steep tank. It's here for about a day and a half, and it's submerged, then dried, submerged, then dried. And this is where we take the raw grain that's about 10% moisture, and by the time we're done here, it's about 45% moisture, and it has started to put out a rootlet. This is finished barley malt right here, and you can take this and yum, just like cereal. In terms of switching from corn or alfalfa to a small grain here, or to say wheat hay, there were 2 things that come into play. One, how does it compare in its consumptive water use to a crop you're wanting to switch with? You know, in this case, barley uses probably about half of what alfalfa uses, and it also uses less than what corn uses. But the bigger thing here is the seasonal shift, and that is using the water when there is water. So what we didn't want to use was be taking water during the summer when demand is really high and supply is low, and we were also focused on maintaining base flow in the Verde River in the summer. And by switching to barley, it worked out just perfect that when the farmer plants it and when it's harvested, we're not using any summer water. So if the farmer plants at the end of January, we harvest the 2nd or 3rd week of June.
You know, the Verde River is such a unique waterway for the state of Arizona, for the Southwest. In a way, it's a symbol, I think, of the New West. And if we can find ways and develop ways to save rivers, I would love them to model it on the Verde. In the town of Camp Verde, we're unique, and we have 18 miles of a flowing river. And 100 years from now, I still want to see a flowing river in this town. Otherwise, we end up looking like every other town in the Southwest, sitting next to what is now a dead river. And I don't want to see that happen. How's the beer? The beer's great, and the malt itself performs. And I think that was an important piece of this. I think when Chip and I started it, that producing a quality product was vital to making this project work. You couldn't just turn out a medium grade grain, but you wanted something high quality. From a brewer's standpoint, it basically outperforms most of the stuff that I use out there that's on the commercial market. And to that, it's something that Chip and I think are very proud of. And Chip, to his credit, has been very methodical about what happens in that steep tank and what happens in that germination tank to get it to those maximum levels.
I love the Verde River.
Listening to The Verde is brought to you by Friends of the Verde River. Please visit verderiver.org/listening for more videos and resources.